Because I thought, my mom is a musician, I thought that means you're broke. And, but I did play guitar, and then I just did it for fun, and then I started playing like my school assembly or like the coffee shop, and I just kept playing. I don't know why. Well, there's a lot of reasons, but the opportunities came, I guess, but I never wanted to do this. I said I would never do this. And here I am. Funny. Good.
My turn. All right. I've always done pop evil, you know, since high school, and we played covers, and again, playing a lot of these guys' songs, you know, and I agree with Ben. It was Pearl Jam, or it was Michael Jackson. You know, I was a singer, so it's a little different than, you know, Mark and Jay here, you know. For us, it was like listening to how melody was kind of being approached, you know, like you said, we all sat in front of the mirror and danced, but here was the thing, like we always played covers. I never wanted a job, and you know, I was blessed. My parents were very supportive, and I remember one week, my mom gave me a bunch of shit. She's like, you need to get a job, so I got like 5 jobs in a row each day. Wilson's Leather in the mall. That was a record.
I still have a jacket for Wilson.
Dude, I got a couple of those. That's good leather, man. That's good leather. Wilson's Leather. Then I went down, then where was it? Sprint and Nextel. And I got the funniest pop people story. Like Dave, my other guitar player, this would have been 2002. So this was the heyday for rock radio, you know, like it was right in the prime time. I mean, we're from Grand Rapids, Michigan, so if you were on the alternative rock stations there, which all these bands were, that's who we were listening to, and we were saving up, mooching off any girl we could find, be like, yo, Breaking Ben's in the Orbit Room tonight, man, can we get in there? No, dude, I ain't got no money, man, can I borrow it, please? So, you know, we were better looking back then, so we had all the girls hooking up. We'd be probably in the back at one of the shows. I remember LJ was in the back, I gave him a demo. I still got the picture, I keep saying I gotta bring for LJ, but then it was, oh, so we're in the kiosk, you know, and we have the khakis on, ponytail rocking, and I see this guy, and we were always slanging, like, we sold like 12,000 out of the back of our truck, and you know, that's a lot of CDs nowadays, let alone back then. So it was crazy, and we were hustling McDonald's, hey, you having fries? Here's a demo tape. So it was like, and we were horrible, we sucked, you know. But anyways, I remember coming down the aisle was this cat wearing a Pop Evil shirt, and I'm like, oh shit, man, I'm in khakis, this fucking sucks. So I'm like, dude, don't let him see me. If you were up top, it's a 2-story mall, right? If you were on top, you would see a brown guy fucking laid out, like khakis, booty all up in the sky, dabbing, you know, it was all fucked up. It was fucked up, man. So I don't even know how we got here. I worked this job, and you know, everyone hated the name and blah blah blah. And you know, right around 05, we got a miracle. We got out of Michigan. That guy was from Portland, Michigan. I remember driving to Michigan State, picking up girls. Oh, too much, man, too much. I don't even know how we ended up making it, but sooner or later we matured, and you know, we got focused on what's the task at hand. And again, we didn't know how to write. We didn't know how to play. We were just going for it. Most people do that in Michigan and up north. You just want to get the fuck out of there, you know what I mean? But hold up. Now all I want to do is get back home, man. I'm in love with Michigan, so I'd at least always live there to some degree. So that was my story. Wilson's Leather, Best Buy, you name it. Nextel, Sprint Nextel, you name it, man. So that was my 1 week of working. It wasn't for me.
Ben, first job.
Oh, first job. I've had a lot of jobs, but the first job that I had was my family. They owned a clothing store where we would take seconds and thirds, which are clothes that have minor flaws in them, and then we'd mend them, and then we'd resell them at a flea market. This is like in the 80s, so this is like pre-Google and shit, eBay and all that. So, and there was some dicey shit going on. But, you know, when you work for your family doing something like that, a box of shirts, my grandfather would be, you could fit more in there, put more in there. When you pack them in there really tight, it gets really fucking heavy. And so me and my brother were the schleppers, the loaders, the unloaders, you know, so we did that. And when you work for your family, you know, we were young, so young I can't even tell you young, but when you work for your family, the child labor laws don't apply. And so it was like, you know, before the sun's even up, we're out loading boxes and stuff, but it does build character. And, you know, after a few years of that, he would let us do actual like sales. There's no credit card stuff, and there's no, people would come up and ask him, like, I want to take this back, this shirt has a hole in it. It's like, that's what we do, man, we sell shirts with fucking holes in them. And then he would take it and throw it on the ground and stomp on it. There's your return. But he would hand us at a certain point like this wad of ones that was like $20. And we're like, we're rich! And we'd run off to the arcade, spend every dollar, and come back and be like, I don't know what happened to it. That would piss him off, so he never did that. But I worked at Pizza Hut for 2.5 years. There's a department store called Boscos, and I sold shoes and that. That was, so you know it's cool too, now I'm having a memory flashback, that was the last job I ever had.
There we go. Good, yeah.
You were Pizza Hut, I was Domino's. Yeah, Domino's. That was yeah, that had to have been the first job, I guess. I was a driver. Made a lot of money. That was back in the day where it was 30 minutes or free, and there were a lot of wrecks back then trying to get pizzas to you people on a Friday night when it's raining. I'm just telling you. But yeah, it was Domino's, and then after that I went. I actually worked with my mother. She worked for a company called Apex Supply Company, which is real boring. It's all commercial, industrial, plumbing, building supplies, stuff like that. And I got in a truck and I unloaded tractor trailers. You know, this is not that I'm that much bigger now, but when I was like about 140, 45 pounds, and you know, I'm lifting bathtubs and water heaters and just going, oh my God, I have to figure out something else to fucking do with my life. Yeah, it was like, you know, 8-10-hour days of just sweating and physical labor. You know, after a good year and a half of doing that, you realize, okay, this is a cool gig, but this isn't what I'm meant to be doing. And I was playing music. I mean, when I actually got the Domino's job, it was to save up for the first drum set. I knew what I wanted. I wanted a Pearl kit, worse than anything, and I just didn't have any money. So, you know, the pizza money was what I bought the drum set with, and then, you know, working at Apex was basically saving up money so that I could actually go and study percussion over at Georgia State. Spent a couple years both there, and then I don't know. It was just weird. It was like one day, I just wanted to learn how to play the guitar, and I had no idea how to do it. And my roommate in college at the time, he was a really, really, really terrible guitar player, like about where I'm at right now. And he knew how to play a bar chord, so I was like, just show me how to play this bar chord, please, so I can write a song. As soon as I learned how to just push the strings down and make noise, I was off to the races. So that's pretty much, I mean, I kind of knew I always wanted to do music, you know, even though delivering the pizzas was kind of cool. You got free pizza and stuff, but music was always my thing, you know, and playing drums is still one of my passions. It's one of the things that I just do naturally. I do it all day, every day. Like, I don't ever stop beating on stuff. Ask my wife, I'm constantly tapping, just driving her nuts, but it's hard to write a song with a set of drums, and you know, I wanted that 3 chords and the truth, you know, approach like U2 does, and just be able to just say, all right, cool, let me create something where people can sing it, you know, because you play all these wacky drum beats and stuff, people are like, stop showing off drum solo, listen to this guy up here, you know. So for me, it was kind of like, all right, it was just the next logical step. I just needed to do it, you know. I mean, someone asked me the other night, they said, if I gave you $150 million tomorrow, would you stop making music? Absolutely not. It's not about the money. It's like, I'll do this until the last day I am breathing. You know, God willing. It's just in me. I enjoy doing it. I love doing it. I constantly try to get better at doing it, because, you know, writing the perfect song is like, it's like fishing for that, you know, there's that one fish out there. He's out there somewhere, but, you know, but that's the thing, that's the drive. It's like songwriting. A lot of times people ask me, they're like, you know, what's it like? I'm like, it's like fishing. Some days you get all your tackle, you get baited up, you go out there and you just sling it out there and you get nothing. And then other days you put it in, it's in the water for 5 seconds, and it's like one of the best songs you've ever written. So that for me is the thrill. That's what keeps me doing it. Because it's like, you know, sometimes you open up a Christmas present and you're not real happy with them, and then other times you're just absolutely blown away. And that's what it is for me. So Domino's is where it started, and here's where we are now.
I guess my first, it wasn't like an official job, but I wanted to play music somehow. Once I got bit by the bug, I was obsessed. I mean, it was crazy. It was all I could think about. So when my stepfather convinced me that it was time to stop doing air band, and he had the mirrors so he could practice his dancing. I had a mirror and a tennis racket practicing my rock poses. And so then my stepdad, bless his heart, he was like, well, I'll tell you what, you want to earn money for your first guitar? We had some horses. I'll give you $1 for every stall that you shovel. Yeah, so I shoveled for 9 months, I shoveled horse manure. And to this day, when I think of my first guitar, I can still smell that horse manure. So that afforded me the luxury of getting my guitar, and then I basically just did whatever. I taught guitar, played in bands here and there, but nothing was real stable. I never had an official job because I didn't want to cut my hair, you know. It was kind of like, I was a little metalhead, and so I just survived. My girlfriends all thought I was a bum, and it sucked. So finally, I go to school, and I get this music degree, and then I have to go into the real world and get an actual job. And so it's going to kind of tie all of our skeletons that we have in our closets. I played in a cover band, and we played Boys to Men. We played Michael Jackson. We did
some good songs.
Yeah, they were great songs. But I'll tell you, the moment that I was doing the fucking hammer dance.
Did you have the pants on? You had the pants on? You had the pants too?
It was the early 90s. We all had those goofy baggy pants.
You did it right. That was a good cover then.
Oh, it was. So that's my big skeleton in the closet. I hope that never goes up online.
Mark, first job.
Well, I was born in Detroit, Michigan, and
Yeah.
and in Detroit, if your parents allow you, you can work, I think, as young as 13 or 14. So I was a young kid, and I was doing the can return. So back then, you could return a can or a bottle for 10 cents. So people would return these just cartloads of cans, and I had to memorize what company the can was from and throw it in the box, and then I'd go home smelling like beer at 13 years old. And my parents moved me to Chicago, where I washed cars at my dad's car dealership, where he sold used cars. And then I got a job at a car wash in Florida, Octopus Car Wash, and worked my way up to supervisor. And then I had to pay my way through college, and I worked at Chili's as a cook for 5 years. So yeah. And then I got a record deal, decided not to study anymore, and here we are.
Yeah, no, my first job was in what's called a video rental store, and it was close to home, so I could show up bare feet and hungover, so it was good. And the second half of the question was if you always wanted to be a musician, right? Because ironically, when I was like 4 years old, I wanted to make pizzas for a living. But since I was 4.5, I wanted to be the conductor of an orchestra, because I was totally into Beethoven, and I'm still dreaming about that to this day. So yeah.
I hope it works out.
Great question. I'm thinking too back my very first job waiting tables at Bennigan's. And Bennigan's.
Oh, Bennigan's.
Oh God, yeah.
Good potato skins there.
I don't even remember.
I love that place. Did you guys have the flair? You guys had the
We
flair
had
there.
the flair.
Yeah.
Totally.
You would
Totally had
have
the
been looking. You would have been looking like Jenny Aniston over there with your flair at Bennigan's. Kayla, yeah. That's hot.
Oh man, office space. Gotta bring back some office space. So first off, I just want to thank the fans for coming out and asking some amazing questions. Really fantastic. I'm usually usually the one asking the questions, so thank you for the break and really just kind of getting into what these artists are all about and who they are and getting to know their personalities a little bit more. But I do have one final question and then we'll wrap up. I feel like, you know, so many times over the years we hear about Seven Dust is the band that all the bands watch side stage. And then watching Avatar last night, and all the bands were out watching Avatar. And I know that the bands come out, they're fans as well, and you come out and you watch the other bands. So something like Shiprocked, or if it's a festival or whatever, you know, whoever you're on tour with. What is it that you as an artist and as a musician and being in a band, what is it that you love and gravitate to when you want to go see that band? Like, what is it about a band that you want to go see for yourself?
Big question.
Yeah. I mean, personally for me, I don't know until I get out there and I see the band, but it's basically going back to Kiss. You know, when I first saw Kiss, like, you don't know what you're going to see sometimes. I mean, you tour with a lot of bands and you kind of get used to their set lists and stuff like that, but anytime there's new music out and anytime this is happening, it's like, you know, it's work, but it's also vacation. I mean, we love music.